At 3:30, we got my Gators, guys. Not exactly been super impressed with them over the past 2 weeks, but we'll get into that. Number 20, Florida, which is 2-1, traveling to number 11, Tennessee, which is 3-0. This is an elimination game for Florida. If you lose this game, you're eliminated, and I don't get to do next week's game for Florida, which is sad. Tennessee's favorite 10.5 points on CBS. Anthony Richardson has started off the season rather poorly. He's gotten 41 of 77, thrown for 423 yards through 3 games, 0 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That is a rough stat. Montrell Johnson Jr. has 25 carries for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. That is almost averaging 10 yards per carry. That is an insane statistic. He is the reason why our offense is actually thriving. Ricky Pearsall through the air has had 7 catches for 120 yards. Hendon Hooker through the air early on. It's the exact opposite of Anthony Richardson. Hendon Hooker has been thriving in his new environment. By the way, Hooker, I hardly know her. And he's got 59-85, thrown for 844 yards, 6 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. It has a 69.4% completion percentage. Jalen Wright on the ground has had 45 carries for 231 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jalen Hyatt through the air has had 18 catches for 267 yards and 3 touchdowns. Florida leads the series all-time 31-20. Last 5 games have gone to Florida, and they have won 16 of the last 17 matchups. Last Tennessee victory was in 2016, so again, it's been a hot second since a Volunteers team has beaten a Gators team. Let's talk about Florida's first 3 games to start out, and it is the duality of Florida football. Honestly, you can see it as a fan. Utah game. We started off the season so great against the Utah Utes. We beat a top 10 football team. Anthony Richardson looks amazing. The next weekend, we play Kentucky. And it just shows the weaknesses of Anthony Richardson's game, right? Kentucky absolutely dominates us on defense. While our defense does a pretty good job, it doesn't help that Anthony Richardson keeps turning the ball over. 2 interceptions in that game, one of them being a pick 6. And then, obviously, last game against USF was a game that we eked by and a game we should have dominated. Yeah. Florida hasn't looked great to start out the year. Tennessee, on the other hand, is the flip side. Their only quality win so far in the year is Pitt. So that's, to be fair, not the greatest quality wins against Ball State and Akron. I just don't know what to think of Tennessee, honestly. I think they are the possibility of being a really good football team. I think Hendon Hooker is a phenomenal quarterback, and I like Josh Heupel as an offensive mind. But we'll see. This is probably one of the better football teams they've faced so far. The defense is going to be ferocious for the Gators. And by the way, guys, every game I've gotten wrong for the Florida Gators so far. So keeping that in mind, I'm picking Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee. Tennessee's going to win this football game. Wink, wink. Hopefully not. But just looking at it from a purely analytical perspective, Florida has played awfully for the past 2 weeks. Tennessee has looked like probably, arguably, either the second best team or very close to it in the SEC East. And it's tough to argue that this Tennessee team doesn't look better, and especially it's going to be in Rocky Top. I expect Florida to actually keep it close. I think this is a close football game. I think Tennessee wins, but I think Florida covers the spread.